PG, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Not bad, thank you. Not bad. Good to see you. Good to see
I love,
Adi.
I love, I love this your cap. Anytime you put this cap, I know it's business.
My papa's cap, right? Yeah.
Yes, bro.
I have a brand new one I'll save for you when I come to Nigeria in end of January. I'll bring it specially for you.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well done, guys.
Hey, how many guests do we have at the moment? I know I saw a name here that is in my list of guests. Unless
Yeah, David, we just have to make sure that all our speakers are in the room. I see MSK is in the room. I see Dr. Abie is in.
Okay. I thought I saw someone, Gambo. I saw.
Oh, yes. President Sheyi Gambo is in the room as well.
Is that the
Yes,
Kaduna FGC
Yes,
Kaduna
he is.
alumni president?
He is. He's here.
Is
Good
it,
evening, guys.
yes, is it Mr. or Doctor, or how do I represent your name?
I'm just Shiga.
Shay, thank you. Your secretary, Binta. Yeah. She's doing very well. I appreciate her. She's been trying to coordinate your association into the Alumni Hub platform. So please give her my. I'm grateful. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay. So
Good evening, Tina Chama. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, PG, sir.
Hi, MSK.
Good
evening, everyone.
So MSK is FGC Kefi.
how you doing?
Fine, sir. Sanu, sir. Sir, I want to secure my appointment on the club, sir.
Dr. Abie has slides that, okay, we will enable share now.
David, how many more minutes do we give?
2 minutes, because we're
next
already 5 minutes in. We have a good audience at the moment, and then we'll immediately start.
I haven't seen General Musa is not here yet, and Mr. Francis Obi is not here yet.
Yes. So,
Madam Welfare Secretary, please, would you like to prompt them more? They are aware that we're talking by 7. Please, would you like just to prompt them a little bit more?
we're here to talk about the men of
Finally,
the movement.
the men are being celebrated.
Usosa
I
men.
saw,
Fantastic.
I saw on the platform people were writing finally.
Yes.
Good evening.
I like the theme. It's men of unity, inspiring change, building tomorrow. Well done, man. It's not easy. It's not easy what you do, especially people who are selfless, giving service without being paid. We appreciate you all.
To humanity.
We appreciate you all. Okay,
And a good reminder to all, please. I hope everybody is paying tax.
Adil, you are going to pray for this advertisement.
Adil, mine gets deducted at point of collection. They don't slack. So I'm very definite that I pay my taxes.
David,
Yes, dear.
given that we are looking for money for this platform, Adil will pay us for using our platform for advocacy.
Yeah. Adil is a good guy. We trust him. Very reliable man. Okay, I think we have
David. Let's go.
How do we start? Do we start with the national anthem or?
Absolutely. You have the program. Let's go.
Okay. Good evening, all. David Erebo here, Federal Government College, Idoani 86 set. Thank you for all joining this lovely podcast to talk about men of unity. It's not often men are. It's not often we get to praise the men in the room. We'll start with the national anthem, and then I'll hand the floor over to PG for some quick introduction. So here we go. Once we're ready.
Thank you, David. I think that we can all unmute and sing the national anthem, please. That's the first time now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
PG, we will hand the floor to you so you can give us some quick words of wisdom.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, fellow Usosans. Good evening, all panelists on this evening's show. First, let me start by wishing all the men in the house and all over the world a happy International Men's Day. So November 19th is set aside for we the men. And last time I checked, we have like 4 or 5 women's days for the women, but the men only have 1. So we're also fighting to see whether we'll get more days dedicated to the men also. But just to thank all the men in the house and men all over the world who every day have to make a living, who have responsibility of taking care of their families or their communities and contributing to society in one way or the other. And of course, thanking the women also for supporting the men to also do this. However, there are still a lot of challenges that men go through. Men are abused. A lot of men are homeless, stateless, some suffer violence. And so it's not a very rosy picture globally. But a day like this gives us the opportunity to recognize not just those who have done well, in terms of some of the things I mentioned, but those who are also faced with challenges to see how best also we can address this. For us in Usosa, we see humanity as one, male, female. I don't see it as anything related to competitiveness. I see complementarity. So just the way we mainstream gender for women, there are also opportunities to mainstream gender for men. Today, men are enjoying paternity leave, not just the women, again, because in certain organizations and countries, laws have been created where men can also enjoy those privileges that the women also enjoy. Today is also a day set aside to promote role models, among the men folk. Men who have distinguished themselves across different fields, across different sectors. So whether you're a public official or a private sector person, whether you're a sportsman or in the creative industry, a lot of men are doing very, very well. And it's an opportunity to showcase them as role models. But more importantly, beyond role modeling, there's a responsibility even for role models to mentor and coach other men, the life skills that would also lead to this kind of success. So we want to celebrate the men who are positively contributing, who have been role models And I think on the program this evening, we have national presidents, we have key players in government who have excelled as men doing their thing. And I'm sure by the time we go around the room, there'll be a lot that can be said about the men who are here. Again, a day like this gives us the opportunity to focus on things around mental health for men too. Well-being, whether it's social, it's economic, it's spiritual. How are the men really doing? It will appear the direction is in one, the traffic is going in one way where the men check on the women. But I think it's also important that we check on the men and find out how they are also doing, how are they coping with the issues of day-to-day life and the responsibility. We've talked about discrimination. I've talked about gender relations and how are men also handling relations with the other gender to create a better society, to create a more cohesive society. How are we creating a safer world where men will play their role and actualize their full potential? Studies in some countries have actually shown that young boys and men are taking a back seat in terms of their responsibilities. And why is this true? So this is also an opportunity for us probably to also look at why that is happening. So the theme, I think, of this year's International Men's Day is celebrating men and boys. So we will celebrate the men, we will celebrate the boys, but we'll also look at what those challenges are and see how we can, bring and develop more men to be more responsible, to be more impactful in society, communities, and so on and so forth. With the Unity schools, we have more girls' schools than even, rather, more girl population than the male population. But more recently, too, boys' schools were created also as single schools, and hopefully they shall be role models that would, emerge from there. So, on behalf of the National Executive Committee, the Executive Committee of Usosa, I'd like to welcome all of us on board this evening, and I do hope our deliberations will be fruitful, where we will see our men doing more, serving more as role models, serving society and community unconditionally for the betterment of our country, Nigeria. So once more, I'd like to welcome all of us to this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, PG. Thank you so much. The theme of this podcast or webinar is Men of Unity, Inspiring Change and Building Tomorrow. We want to take this opportunity to celebrate the men of the Usosa community. Chioma.
Yes. David, for once I'm from this side, I'm celebrating all the men. Thank you very much, PG, for that inspiring charge for us to keep celebrating the men and also look at the challenges. Oftentimes, it's always about the women. So I'm actually very excited that we are having this conversation. Somewhere in Australia, they changed theirs to, instead of saying celebrating men and boys, they decided to say supporting men and boys. So for all the ladies in the room, this is our chance to support the men. Thank you for all that you do in this space. Without you, I'm sure the world will not be, we make it colorful though, but without you, you are the strength that we ride on. So thank you very much. David, let's bring in Dr. Abiye into the room, please.
Right, you are. Dr. Abiye is going to give a quick talk. I believe that Dr. Abiye's talk is around, let me make sure I get this right. Yes, it's around redefining strength, mental health, balance and purpose for today's man. Dr. Abiye, the floor is yours.
So please let me know when you can see my slides.
We can't see your slide. Thank you.
Is it on slideshow?
Yes, we can definitely see it, yes.
No, I'm asking if it's on slideshow because I can't really see it from my own end.
Oh, right. I know.
Okay. All right. No problem. I'm just
definitely.
going to go ahead. I have 10 minutes, so let me. Okay, so thanks, and thanks for this opportunity. I'm actually a Federal Government College Port Harcourt 88 set, so we're first SSS set, and I'm excited to do this for my Usosa. So, like was mentioned already, the topic is really around redefining strength. Sorry.
No. You carry on.
Okay.
I think that was somebody whose mic was not muted.
Okay. So I'm just briefly going to talk about this. And the way I wanted to talk about it really was first to just do that introduction. PG already talked about mental health, right? And there's a classical definition for what mental health is. The World Health Organization tells us that mental health is actually a state of well-being where individuals can realize their potential, can work productively, and can cope with everyday stress. So stress is really part of everyday life, and then they can actually contribute to society. So typically, for us to do the things that we should be doing as men, and contribute to society positively, we need our mental health. People typically confuse mental health with mental illness. They are not the same thing. I mean, it's like talking about physical illness and physical health. Two different things. We need our mental health to be at our best. And typically what happens is we go through the spectrum of either we're in good mental health or we're in poor mental health. And typically when people are in poor mental health, when they go towards that end of the spectrum, that's when we start talking about mental illness and all of that. But then as men, I mean, we're talking about ourselves today as men, Our reality is, as men, we are faced with all kinds of challenges. I saw this picture I'm using on someone's DP, and I decided to use it, because it just made me laugh, So we're faced with all kinds of challenges, and that's our reality. But then, growing up and up till date, we still say things like be a man, man it up, men don't cry. We use all those kind of terms and all of that. I was having a chat with a friend of mine not too long ago, and then she goes that, today is Men's Day, it's not easy to be a man. It's not a day's job to be a man. We use all those kind of things, right? And then sometimes I ask myself the question, so if it doesn't take a day to be a man, then how long does it really take, right? But suffice to say that all of these things are part of our reality, and they can affect our mental health. They can affect our productivity in different ways, right? And for today, we're talking about redefining what strength is and how we can be more productive and more purposeful. And so I thought that one of the things we could look at, one of the ways we can actually look at this in redefining strength is what I call the fundamental 3 Ps, right, for men today. Presence, purpose, and perspective. Now, presence is really about living in the moment. It's really about showing up, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically, for your responsibilities and even for yourself as a person, right? Presence is really how you connect with people. It helps to build relationships. It helps to, strengthen relationships and all of that. When you're present, right, you're not just there, but you're actually fully there, right? It's what helps you to listen to people, right? So you're listening to your spouse, or you're listening to your children, or you're listening to your teammates or colleagues or whoever it is, right? But you're also listening to yourself. Listening to yourself helps you to know when to slow down, when to rest, because you're listening, right? So presence is really very important. The other P is about purpose. Purpose is really about living life with a sense of direction, right? It's really what keeps us motivated, irrespective of the challenges around us. So it's important that we have a sense of direction, because at the end of the day, I mean, what are we really living for? I mean, what legacies are we leaving behind? So that's really very important. The other thing I wanted to talk about, the other P I wanted to talk about is about perspective, which is really very important to me, right? Part of why it's important is there's an old quote I typically will use when I have sessions with clients and all of that. It talks about men are not affected by the events of life, but by the views they have of them. In other words, by their perspective. Now, it's that kind of perspective that helps us to, understand that weakness, saying I need to rest is really not a sign of weakness. It's that kind of perspective that helps us understand that being vulnerable takes courage. It's not a sign of weakness. We've taught children, we were taught ourselves, and we still teach children today how to become men and all of that. That has helped to stigmatize them, right? So rather than showing emotion, right, people go through life not trying to show emotion because they think that showing emotion is not a manly attribute. Actually, vulnerability is courageous. It takes courage to be vulnerable, and that's what we need to be able to teach our kids and all of that. And one of the things I say is that our true strength is really not about never being weak or never showing our weaknesses. No, it's really about acknowledging our limitations and being courageous enough to ask for help. That's really where true strength lies, right? It's not about having all the answers to everything. It's not about knowing everything. No, it's really about being curious and being open-minded and to receiving feedback and being committed to growth, right? So these are some of the things that I think are critical for men today and will help us navigate through all of the challenging times we find ourselves, especially in Nigeria today. Now, part of what I was supposed to talk about was about maintaining balance and all of that. I typically like to use what I call the serenity principle, right? And people know it as the serenity prayer, but I call it the serenity principle. Now, the serenity principle is really about accepting the things that we cannot change, having the courage to change the things that we can, but most importantly, the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Right? So serenity in terms of I can't change this, so I can be peaceful about it. That's perspective. That's the P we're talking about. Having the right perspective to the situation. Courage to change the things within my control, right? And then I need to be present, right? And I need to be purposeful to be able to make that happen. But it's important that we understand the difference between the two, because more often than not, where people struggle is that they try to force things outside of their control and want it to happen, and it just leads to frustration and all of that, right? So the key for me to staying in control, the key for me to maintaining a balance, right, is having the right perspective and understanding what I call the serenity principle. And one of the quotes I like to use, it's from someone called Annette Colby, where she says that the better as men we are able to manage our emotions, the greater our capacity to enjoy life, and to cope with everyday stress of life, right? And of course, to focus on things that are important to us. So we need that balance. We need to stay in control. So what is my ask for us here today, this evening, right? And what's the call for action? So basically, I'm saying if we're not, what can we do differently, or what can we continue to do that we are already doing? One of it, right, we can talk about different things. For example, we can say, let's look after ourselves, which is self-care. We can say, let's look after our physical health, do exercise, eat well. We can talk about all of those things, but that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today, 3 cardinal things, right? One is speaking up. PG started out talking about mental health and all of that. It's something that we need to be able to talk about, right? If you look at what statistics say, statistics tell us that 1 in 4 people will go through a mental challenge, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to be a mental illness, right? But we will all go. I mean, that's why people say something like everybody has a moment of madness, right? So we will all go through all of that. We need one another. We need to be able to normalize conversations around mental health, right? It's okay to have a challenge. It's okay to feel like you're pressured. What's not okay is to not speak up. It's to stay in silos, which is part of what we have been trained to do, right? A guy is under pressure, rather than speak up, I mean, for him, it's a sign of weakness, so he's not speaking up. We need to be able to normalize speaking up. That's really very important. Let's speak up about mental health. Let's normalize the conversation. The second thing I'm asking today for us as men is we need to learn to slow down, right? Nobody's Superman. Let's not try to be superhuman or any of that, right? So let's rest. Let's learn to rest, and rest is a very important thing, right? Let's learn to also really connect with people, and that's why you have the other picture on the right hand side, right, where it shows people hugging and all of that, because we need these connections, and that's part of why I'm excited about Usosa, right? We need positive connections to help us navigate through life. We call them safety nets, right? It's not when you're in crisis that you're building connections. You build the connections before there's a crisis. That's what helps you to navigate through any kind of crisis and all of that. And then finally, I'm asking that we stand tall, live life with integrity, with a sense of purpose and with grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Abie. Thank you so much. That's very enlightening. It's true what you say. We all go through mental emotions sometimes. We're going to allow a few people. Yes, go on, Chioma. Floor is yours.
I didn't see enough hands clapping. Like that, we didn't hear him or we don't appreciate it. But let's appreciate Dr. Abie.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. So, can we get a few questions? I'm sure there's one or two questions around what Abie has espoused. Anybody? Just raise up your hand and we'll open the floor to you.
I've learned a new one today. Presence, purpose, and perspective. Very key.
So if there's no question, all right, Jerry wants to ask a question.
Okay.
Ask one, but Jerry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, all the Usosans. I'm Jerry Musa from Federal Government College, Kefi, OSA. So I have a quick question. Since we're talking about wellness for men, I want to ask to the presenter as well as others that are listening, if there should be a different model of responding to men's maybe emotional problems, mental management, and things like that. Because on a broad spectrum, I've attended a lot of mental health. Like you said, it's different from mental illness. So particularly mental health seminars, mental health webinars. And all of the solutions I keep hearing for different mental health situations can help females, but they are not the same for male. And there seems to be that, it appears strange when I asked the question once, that one way of doing something can help, for instance, a boy child growing up, because I do interact with kids, I teach in Sunday school, and the approach cannot be the same. And it seems that is lost. So I'm asking, is there a prescription that way that goes separately? First, is that true that the approach corresponding to mental health issues for men are quite different and quite distinct from that of females? And then generally what I see recommended, even contained in many literatures, they're essentially what we help the girl child, not the male child.
Thank you, Jerry. I'll allow Abie to speak on that.
Okay, so thanks, Jerry, for your very important question. My perspective to your question is like this, right? The male is fundamentally different from the female, right? So typically as a doctor, when you're managing a condition, so let's take malaria, for example, right? You're not just managing malaria in everybody. You're managing malaria in a particular person, whether it's male or female, right? So you're always going to take all of that into consideration when you're managing that, right? But is it the same prescription you're going to give? More often than not, it probably will be the same prescription you're going to give, right? But then let's give a woman, for example, who is having malaria and on her period and perhaps has low blood levels, and then they're a bit ridiculously low, right? You want to do something additional for her, right? But that's also the same way that in a guy, the person could have malaria and also have low blood levels. You also want to do something for the person. So you're not managing the situation in silos. You're managing it taking into cognizance the other peculiarities around the individual, not just the situation itself. So bottom line is both male and female go through different mental health kind of challenges, right? There are some mental health situations that are more pronounced in females. There are some that are more pronounced in males, right? But typically you're going to address them using the same basic way of addressing what the situation is, right? And then because you're talking to the person, right, if there are other things that you need to address along the way, then yes, you will also do that. So it all depends on what the situation is and what the scenario is, right? But then it's not going to be a one-cap-fits-all approach, no. But fundamentally, you will use the same basic processes. So what you're listening to right now, it's really the basic things that can help both male and female, right? The same way a woman, I think I've said enough. So that's my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Abie. Before we go further, let me quickly acknowledge our panelists that are here at the moment. I believe we've got Francis Obi in the house. We've got Barrister Chinedu Amore, the VPG of Usosa. We've got Dr. Abie, who's just been giving us a talk. I believe we've also got Shei Gambo, who is the Global President, FGC Kaduna OSA. And we've got someone I heard everybody referring to as MSK, Mohammed SK now. He is of FGC Kefi OSA. I believe his topic is around advancing Children Rights Day. I'm not too sure about that. Questions to our panel will be centered on redefining strength, mental health, national unity, values to national impact, leadership beyond titles, and exploring mentorship, service, and resilience. We also have topics around stories of change and community leadership, as well as the role of mentorship in shaping young men. Finally, I think we'll open the floor to VPG in a moment, as the only lady on the panel. Mentorship, leadership. Go on, Chioma.
All right, thank you, sir. Just before VPG comes, I was actually thinking that VPG is supposed to come after all the men have spoken.
Okay.
She will not give her perspective as from a woman's lens of everything that will be said.
Ladies first, please.
Yeah.
I'm protesting. Ladies first.
No, I'm going to speak after all the men have spoken now.
Okay, yes, we'll go with what VPG said. She speaks after all the men have spoken. All right.
Yes, sir. If you would allow me, I will just start with Mr. Francis Obi, if he's here, I believe. Mr. Francis.
Thank you.
Mr. Francis, are you here?
I heard his voice.
Whether I'm here or not, you people have decided to. The women have come here, even though it's a man's day. They have come here to.
So we're just here to support. We're silent in the
room. No, it's just to support.
We're just supporting.
You know, they say you are supporting, and you know, there's this popular saying that the men are the head of the homes, but they say the women are the neck, and they decide where the head should turn. So you are supporting, but at the same time, you are VPG should address us. You have overruled everybody and said that no, she will come last. All right, no problem. So good evening.
All right, sir. You're very welcome. Mr. Francis is the president
Before Francis
Federation of
continues,
Nigeria. Yes.
can
Go ahead, David.
Dr. Abiye just stop sharing his screen, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much.
that.
Thank you. So, Mr. Francis, you are the president of Badminton Federation of Nigeria, which means that you have a lot of young people, whether men or women. But today we just want to talk about mentorship for the men, for the boys. So from the role that you have played there, how do you think that the Usosa man, what does the Usosa man need to do to build a better tomorrow? You have a lot of young Usosans around you as well. So we'd just like to hear your thoughts, given that you also play in a space where you handle a lot of youth.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I think if you want to look at what role we think a Usosa man can play, is to look at exactly what, Usosa, what unity schools were meant to have done for us. What foundation, did unity schools form for us? So unity schools were, created with a clear national purpose to foster unity and diversity, to nurture future leaders, to build character and discipline, to model what Nigeria can and should look like. That's why, a lot of times people say unity schools and the youth service were two major national, will I call them policies by the then leaders that were deliberately meant for foster unity of our country. And it has remained that way. So basically, what should a Usosa man do? For me, I growing up as young men in the environment we were brought up to see beyond tribe, religion, or region or ethnicity, to compete fairly and work collaboratively, and then to lead when needed and serve when necessary. That was how we were brought up. So it was very easy. Everybody was equal. Maybe you are in a class, and then amongst you a leader is picked. And even when that was done, it was made very clear. Anybody amongst peers could be a leader, and that was what we were prepared for as Usosans. So these values are now our national assets. Those values we were brought up with. Tools we must consciously apply to our roles as fathers, professionals, leaders, and citizens. It is when we do that we can be role models, we can mentor people, we can look at young people coming up and say, this is the direction we should go because of those things that we learned. So for me, the Usosa man today is a leader in his home, a mentor in his community, a pillar in his profession, a custodian of unity values, because those were the things we were taught, a bridge builder in a fractured nation. That is a reality we are all facing today, but our upbringing, we were prepared for this. Our education equipped us not just for personal success, but for public responsibility. We owe it to our nation. We owe it to our community. So much was given to us, and we must be ready to give something back. So for me, what Nigeria needs now with what we are facing, we have different challenges, deepening divisions, weak national cohesion, erosion of public trust, youth and unemployment, social and moral decay, declining leadership values. So in many ways, the nation is calling out for the kind of values we were trained with. No other time is that call, that responsibility more than now on every Usosan because of what these schools gave to us. So if I speak from my experience, as president of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, I came in and, like we know in a lot of fairs, different areas of our society, a lot of times people come in when you are having engagements with people, you are having to address issues, ethnicity, religion is brought in. And it's not only in, it's everywhere, even in sports. So I came in, and sometimes you're only selected into the national team if you come from a particular area, or you are practicing a particular religion. And I came and I said, no, that was not my upbringing. That was not my background. So I made it very clear. I've come to become the president of badminton in Nigeria, not the president of badminton in any state anymore, not the president of badminton of any ethnic group, not president of badminton of any religion, but president of badminton in Nigeria. And I told them, if, for example, we go out, we take a team, we go out to represent Nigeria. We don't go out to represent Benue or represent Lagos or represent Zamfara, or we don't go out to represent Christians or go out to represent Muslims. That was not our upbringing. So these values are things that our country needs most at this very trying and challenging period. So you must be out there to lead by example, so that, because it's easier to mentor by what you do, not by what you say. So for me, like I said, it was difficult when I came and I said, no, I don't care where anybody comes from. If you're able to go inside the court and you perform, let your performance determine those who will make the national team. Initially, they thought it was going to be difficult, but I put my feet down, and I can tell you today, everybody knows that is what the practice is in badminton. We don't look at where you come from, and that is what it should be. So for me, it should be a very solid foundation. And if we are able to pursue those values, I think it will be more impactful on our nation and our society. I don't know if I've been able to touch a bit.
Absolutely, Francis. Every time I listen to you, I'm spellbound, because you bring your wealth of knowledge and experience to the floor. Thank you for your talk. I believe all our panelists are here now. Chioma, is that correct?
Yes. David, I would also appeal to people to drop their questions. If you have any question for any of the panelists while they're speaking, just drop it and we will take it. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I think we're moving to leadership beyond titles, exploring leadership, mentorship, service, and resilience. Am I correct, Chioma?
Yes, you are.
Let me welcome, is this General Chris Musa?
Yes, it is.
I believe, okay, he's about to enter the room now. I think he left us and he's just coming back in. Let's wait for him to come back in, and then we'll give the floor to him.
Yeah, David.
Yes, General Musa.
As we are waiting for him to come in, I would also like to add that we might have to go back to Mr. Francis at some point, because I would like to hear, and thankfully PG is here, who is very passionate about the next generation next. We have a lot of, today we're celebrating men and boys. So we need to know what's the plan for the boys in Usosa.
Right. We'll get there, but let's...
we have people that just left school 2025, 2024. So what's the plan?
No worries. Let's open the floor to General Chris Musa. I believe he was the former Chief of Defense Staff.
Immediate past, please.
Immediate past.
Yeah.
We are expecting him to speak to us on leadership beyond titles, exploring leadership, mentorship, service, and resilience. You're welcome, General. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
David.
All right, thank you. Yeah, hello everyone. So sorry, I had issues with the network as usual. I don't know, MTN seems to be having some problems here, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm happy to be part of this. For me, leadership is about sacrifice. Your ability to carry everybody along, be able to select a good team, because initially, what I realized from my own experience is you cannot achieve much alone. You have to be able to have a good team. And what affects us as Nigerians, or probably as Africans, is that we tend to want to bring people that we think are either our tribes or our religion or what together to form a team. And I think that's the greatest mistake. In a diversified country like Nigeria, you need to have every part of every country to have a sense of belonging. Because from what I found, in the military, leadership is critical, it's hierarchical. Being that your ability to inspire your men will give them the strength to be able to perform better, especially during operations. Operations are the test of your ability to stand strong and fight. Your men must be able to trust you. So as a leader, you must be able to gain the trust of the men, and you don't buy that. You have to earn it, and the only way you can earn it is that they must see that you are there for them. You know what you are doing. You are committed to it, and that you are always there to also make sure that you protect them. I think that's very critical. Most times you have leaders, for selfish reasons, you want to do things, and when things are going bad or going south, you want to just exonerate yourself and then say, no, it's not me, it's them. No. A leader must give a direction and be able to monitor and ensure that everybody remains focused in achieving the goal ahead. And I think if you do that, and they see that sense of purpose and sense of sincerity in you, your followers will always want to follow you. In Nigeria, the issue we have again is that we don't look at leadership as part of sacrifice. We think if we are leaders, we have to make money. I don't know how we have turned our lives towards thinking that money solves us. But money is good, but it's not everything. Your integrity, your character, your dedication, your commitment, and people must know that you are honest and you are reliable. The leader doesn't have to be the smartest guy in the room, no, but his ability to choose a good team and keep them focused as to the direction where they're heading to. If you look at most of the world leaders we have, are people who are able to know what they want and be able to bring the team that can attain those things and keep them in line and doing those things. And that's the only way you can get the results. For Nigeria, great nation, great people we have. God has blessed us so immensely. But we seem not to move forward because we have allowed the little gaps in between us, either tribe, religion, regional, or for one thing or the other. Because there will always be reasons if you want to not to move forward. So it is that ability for us to be able to come together, firstly look at ourselves as human beings, then as Nigerians. Most times it is when we leave Nigeria that we speak of Nigeria. When we are in Nigeria, everybody wants to speak about his own region or his village or his tribe or something. And that is not good for us. And for me, I think that's what Usosa is supposed to stand for, that unity.
Begging your pardon, General. Yeah. Your camera is off. We would like to see you so that we can highlight your...
I don't want to scare people with my face. Okay, let me see.
Please.
Let me see if I can get it back.
We're happy to be scared, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, like I said, it's about that togetherness, that love for each other, love for country, love for your fellow neighbor. I mean, when they say love your neighbor as yourself, it's not just a gimmick. It's just the truth. That for us to move forward, we must learn to carry ourselves as one and speak as one. It is that division that is really bringing us down. And I think Usosa's aim, at least one of the objectives why it was established, is for us to forge that unity among youths. But again, I tell you, and I think we're losing that. Because if you go to social media and hear comments when things happen in Nigeria, you will be shocked as to what the youths are saying to each other. It is shocking. When I was in the Federal Government College Secretary, I was there, I finished 85. And I can tell you, I never knew the state of origin of most of my mates. Not until now, that when issues come, I start asking, what state are you from? What state are you from? It didn't really matter. And that's how it should have been. But unfortunately, we've allowed a few people to come in between and expand the gaps instead of building synergy. I had the privilege of being in the military. That I spent about 11 years in China, and I can tell you, most of the problems we're having is not anywhere closer to what China has gone through. We are not anywhere close to China. China's size is 10 times the size of Nigeria. Their population now is almost 12 times the size of Nigeria, and they are moving forward. They are number 2 in the world. So if we think of population, we're only 200 million. They are 1.something billion. Landmass, we're only 923,000 square kilometers. They are 10 times our size. So what is our problem? You know, if you look at the issues of tribe, yes, they had about 100 and something tribes. They were able to sit down and say, okay, look, this ethnic group is similar to this, and then they streamline it to about 50 something. The Hans, they are the majority, they are about 92.something%. So what they did is that they tried to strike a balance, saying, okay, not because we are many or we have the highest population, the minorities too need to breathe. So even when they were doing one child policy, the minorities were allowed to give birth to more than 4 or 5 because they wanted them to bring up their strengths. The governments have systems where they bring the minority to bring them up to strength. So that, but here we tend to take advantage to oppress others. And I think that is dangerous. That is not helping us. So Usosa is supposed to really come, and I think we're not really taking our rightful place, because now I remember the last time I learned is that we're almost about 1 million. 1 million is a large number, and we can make changes if we really. In fact, I remember in the, about 4 or 5 years ago, I said, look, Usosa could even form a political party. Why not? Maybe I'm saying this now freely because I'm a civilian now. When I was a military man, I couldn't speak because they would say I was taking side. But truly, if we want changes, we have to be bold. We were given the opportunity to mix together to make Nigeria better. Are we really achieving that? How can we do it better? Because even within us, when we meet during meetings, when you hear people talk about each other, it's really very sad. And I think we tend to move beyond that. We are a generation that listens to our parents. Unfortunately, we might be the same generation that will be listening to our children, and it's not helping issues. We must be able to build, and it's a deliberate thing to develop a nation. Are we doing that? Are we ready to do that? Unity is not just a cash word. No, it is something that has to be, ingrained in our minds, in our mindsets, for us to really want to make Nigeria a better place. And I think that's the essence of Unity School, Usosa itself. So we must look within and see that how can we unite Nigeria more? We need to also encourage most of the Usosa members to join politics. If you want to make changes in Nigeria, if you're not in politics, forget it. You can't make any policy. So we must go to House of Reps, we must go to Senate, you must vie for governorship and other things. And then when you are in, then you can start making these changes. All the great leaders that made changes, those didn't start one day. They started gradually and they were able to achieve what they did. So why not us? So I think it's something that I really want to encourage us to do more. We have a lot. God has blessed us, like I said, it's greatly in Nigeria. It is for us to be deliberate about our development, deliberate as to what we want. I mean, look at our educational system. Can we compare to what it used to be then? No. Because as it is, the way it's supposed to be is such that the son of a president, the son of his messenger or his driver can be in the same class. But now, the classes are different. Because how much do you pay for school fees? How many people can afford that? So you find that the sons of the rich are the ones benefiting the more, and then the sons of the poor are left like that. Those kids will grow up not knowing what it means to be poor, because they've never had friends, they've never mixed up with them. And this is how a community gets divided. We must return to the way we used to do things, that everybody has a right to get free education, even if it is up to secondary school level. But we must ingrain those things properly for us to move forward. And I think it's doable. I think it's something we can achieve, but we must be determined about it. And Usosa is in position to do a lot. Whether we are doing it or not, I think that's one other aspect we have to look at. That's my stake.
Absolutely, General Musa. I'll take this opportunity to invite you to the Pro-Unitate podcast, where we can talk about this a lot. I'll get Chioma to organize that. Today is the International Men's Day, so we celebrate you. We celebrate every man in the room, and we also celebrate the women, because without the women, the men are not here. Let's be honest about that. Exactly. Chioma.
Yes, I would just thank you very much, sir, for it's always a pleasure to hear from you. I would just like us to take a minute, just celebrate Christmas We are so proud of you as a Usosan. Please, let me see those hands. Let's celebrate him for a job well done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Olumide, you
all.
have a question. I hope your question is around what the general has just talked about, especially in terms of mentorship, service, and resilience. Please ask your question.
Yeah, good afternoon. Pleasure to be here, and thank you all for organizing this. And thank you to the comments from the former Chief of Defense Staff, and you spoke well regarding the spirit of Usosa, the unity schools, and all that. And what is clear, the reason why those unity schools were successful was because of a visionary leadership that felt that there was a need to put something like that in place. And they took steps to make it happen, of which we all benefited from. Now, categorically, to be clear, most of the things that we're dealing with in Nigeria are a reflection of leadership failure. And much as that is not, quote unquote, the focus of today, I think it will be a missed opportunity if we have a former Chief of Defense Staff in the room and we don't ask the question and get some insights from you regarding, I would love for you to share some insights regarding why insecurity of the scale we're talking about has persisted for so long in Nigeria. Okay. It would be great to hear from someone like you relating to that.
I'm sorry.
Just briefly.
That's a
I understand. I know where you're going.
Another time. This
maybe particularly. You can talk directly. Yeah.
Yes. Today is about celebrating men and the International Men's Day. So if your question is not around that, we're happy for you to join his podcast when it comes to the Pro-Unitate podcast, and we can ask that question. As for today, we're concentrating on mentorship in service and how it impacts the man on the International Men's Day. All right. Sotoye, you have a question. I hope it's exactly around mentorship. We'll give one more question and then we have to get the next speaker on. Thank you.
Yes, good day all and happy International Men's Day. I was actually looking out for the theme of the Men's Day. Why didn't say it? So a big thank you to the immediate past TDS. I mean, very laudable things have been said, and listening to you, very, very heartwarming. Now, in terms of mentorship, guess I hear all the great things that have been said about the military, but a couple of days ago, I saw a video of a female, a young lady who I think she opted for voluntary discharge, and she highlighted issues of sexual harassment, in the military. So can you share, how is the mentorship for young men in the military to be a lot more accommodating of their female colleagues? And if you may share in your time, what did you actually do to change the narrative, and ensure that the male folk are much more accommodating and are actually female allies rather than make lives miserable for the female soldiers? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. We'll open the floor to the general.
Yeah, thank you very much. I watched the video and really haven't been able to get across to the unit to really understand what happened. But what I know in the military is that we have a system that has check and balances. We have that system is working. The rule in the military is if you are being oppressed or you feel somehow on anything, you are authorized to report thrice to your commander, immediate boss. If nothing is talking, you are allowed to bypass him and tell the next boss. Now, why the military is that whatever offense is committed, there's always a way of investigation. I don't know what really happened to her. She said she was discharged and yet still disturbed. from a little experience I have, a lot of people, when they come on air to talk, don't really tell you the truth. That I can tell you for free. A lot of them will tell you the stories they want you to hear. But when you start investigating, you find out that it is entirely something different. But again, we cannot say that there's no harassment and all this is because gender is always there. We're just humans. But the truth about it is that we have a system that makes sure that everybody is protected. We write reports, annual report on our commanders, on our troops yearly, and these reports are always reviewed for you to gain promotion and do all this, and all these reports. So if this issue is coming and it's reported that you had this issue, it will affect your promotion. So everybody knows. Now, for us as commanders, when I was a junior officer, I've always learned to look at the attitude, the character of my commanders. Some good, some bad, but you always take the good and note the bad so that you don't repeat the same. And that's what we try to also inculcate in our juniors while coming up. Now, at the Nigerian Defense Academy, we have what we call man management. Man management is to tell you how to manage your soldiers, both male and female, your junior officers, as you grow up into the system. So we have that way of teaching, and we have ways of redress. You are allowed to redress. Nobody will shut you down. Even if you have a commander who is difficult, you can report, bypass him and report, but as long as you have made the initial report, that is done. For her, like that, I'll take time and really find out across what really went wrong in that aspect. But like I can tell you, mentorship is one thing we do. As commanders, we always want to live above board. It's not it's not what we say, it's what we do. I think that is very critical. So for her, I will take time to really go out and find out what really happened. And then I will advise those ones still in service as to how and what to do about it. But bringing up for us, since from academy you are told you can't fight, you can't be dishonest, you cannot be dirty, you must respect the law, these are things that they tell us on daily basis, and you spend 5 years. So by the time you come, and that's why you see it's difficult for you to see soldiers fighting on the street, because for us, they are not only two fighting, both of you will leave service. We are that stringent on those issues. So you going to treat somebody based on gender or for whatever it is, you know the repercussion, because we have our court martials. And if we don't have pending cases, your case comes up, you know the offense, you know the punishment. And these things are taken, and we are trying as much as possible to be above board. We're not 100%, that I can tell you. But I can tell you majorly that it's not too bad. We will look at her issues, and then we'll be able to see what issues we can come up from that. But I can tell you, most times people will come here to complain. It's go to find out it's beyond what they were saying.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, General.
Thank you.
We have to move on.
Yes, David. Okay.
Go on, Choma.
Our next panelist is Sheyi Gambo, who is the global president of FBC Kaduna. And Mr. Gambo, our question is really about our success stories. One of the things we do with Pro-Unitate podcast is to look out from the hostel to the boardroom. So we just want your part is actually about storytelling, because you are out there even with Usosa and the leadership and every other person who is achieving something in Usosa. So I just want us to highlight those. It will inspire someone in this room who is thinking, okay, so what has the people before me done? So that is around what we want you to speak on. The success stories, please. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, our PG, thank you for, as usual, orchestrating this.
We don't have your camera on, Shay. Sorry.
I'm a bit shy tonight, but well, when you people put me immediately after a general, what do you expect?
Excellent. Thank you, Shay. Thank you so much.
All right. So, well, it's true now. When I said general before, what am I going to say? But well, I think I will start with this quote, which also ties into what you're about to discuss, and by a popular reggae musician, Bob Marley. He said, "The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively." As the global president, I think I've had one of the most interesting times as a Usosa. I've seen a lot of development. I've seen a lot of opportunities being turned around for good. I've seen leadership. I've seen purpose. I've come across people who are shy. They don't want people to know that this is what they are doing. And they have done a lot. And General Musa is one of them. You people know that we have what we call professional clusters in Federal Government College Kaduna. And I've been trying to sell this idea to other units of Usosa as well. So we have this cluster for military and paramilitary. I've not met the general before, and I told him that every biannually we have a dinner for our military men, both serving and those who are no longer in service together. Because I believe that we cannot thank these people enough. So we have this cluster that will bring them. And there was one that I wrote to the general and said, General, that we would like you to come and give a talk. Sitting chief of defense staff. He said, yes, what's coming? But there was a protest in Abuja that time after the chief couldn't come. But he sent a representative. Not only that, not like Fayoshe and Papa. He also sent financial support for the thing we are doing. Not shouting about it, but these are people that understand what we stand for. That this system needs encouragement. This system needs partnership. Going outside, we know what happened. How Access Bank became Access Bank today. Federal Government College Kaduna, Ike, and Wigwe of FGC Warri. And yes, he also had this thing. So coming together and redefining the banking industry. I'm happy that I saw somebody here, and I hope he's still here, David Kevin. David Kevin is my set, 90 set, and somebody in 88 set coming together and redefining infrastructure of telecoms in Nigeria. These guys, you see them, they are still, you think I'm a rich man when you see them. These guys are there. And they're doing amazing things for the school and everything. Some months back, he sent a team of 6 to LA. And this is what we are saying. And this is why I tell you that. And this is why I tell you. If you have a vision, that is well captured, that people can see and run with it, you have support. In Usosa, you have support. You see somebody that will say, oh, I like what you're doing, and they'll give you all the necessary support. So, just 2 months before this competition came, my school was one of the schools that was shortlisted to go there. And I just went, counting down 1 month to the day. And we got the money. We raised about 17 million to send 4 of the kids abroad and two of the teachers. That's the teacher and this thing. That is what we are talking about. When we are having our 50th anniversary, I've never handled money like that. And from all over the globe, people are coming in. Oh, this is our school. We want to celebrate our school. We want to give back to the school. Now, there is a disconnect in contemporary unity schools with what we have in our days. And there's so many reasons, that the flavor, the texture of unity school, especially up, are not like it used to be. And because of insecurity, because of and so many things, people will not allow their kids to fly. So just notice that people from other tribes that you see in the unity schools are basically around those people that stayed within states, the immediate state or the environment. We also notice that people are like getting weary or tired that, okay, why are we always pumping money? Every set is having something. We are doing this. 2 years later, we are doing the same thing and everything like that. And one of the things I've said to my partners that the Unity School interface with the Alumni Association, the model we are running is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's like putting in money into putting water in the basket. There must be a model which is more sustainable and that people can see, set generation of sets going and going. And I've said, look, I'm very practical. We have to be ready because we're in a political space. Nigeria is not as rich as we know our as rich as we used to. The population has exploded, and we don't have the kind of leadership that can translate our resources to to the facilities that we need today. So, and I've said that we should not be caught napping. If, like what happened 3 years ago, a class is an example. This happened. I sent my son abroad. The school fees calculated for 3 years was XYZ. A government policy came, and the school fees tripled. So, that's government for you. They have their their priorities, and you have to go with their priorities. Supposing the government stands up tomorrow and said they want to sell Unity School, because I know that about 70% of the budget of the ministry is going down the ministry, Unity Schools, and we don't see commensurate infrastructure or services there. There's a gap within there. So if they come tomorrow and say that they want to sell the Unity Schools, are we ready? Do you have a BOT that can stand the test of time, or a BOT? There's no Unity School that is not placed. And that's why I always tell our leaders that it's high time we start searching for those who have resources, those who have the passion and numbers to come and take position. I told my people last November, I said, look, the next BOT we are going to have not going to be just somebody that wants to warm the chair and BOT. There must be people that, as a phone call, they can get things done at the ministry. As a phone call, if you cannot get the president of Nigeria, you can get somebody that can get a phone to the president of Nigeria. And that's Unity School for you. There's no facet of life, not only in Nigeria, in the globe, that you don't see Usosans playing significant role or pivotal role. There's no industry. You can just tell me. Just tell me. So we have, but our issue is that we've not been able to have people we've not been able to create that environment that those who are doing well, we said, okay, yes, I can trust this process. Because in the process of giving back, we've heard stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But today, and it's meant, and we know that the preponderance of leadership falls on men. That's a fact of it, as of the reality that we have today. And so a lot is expected of us men. And I always tell people, like, I cannot count people in their own Usosans that have been instrumental to them, doing their masters. It belongs on me. Everything can't just be about my family. The space is for the strong to raise up the weak. And, when we are talking of weak, we are talking of weak that we know that they have potential to being great themselves tomorrow. Not the ones that are lazy. They'll go from A, B, C and be begging and everything. We know we have them. Young guys that are purposeful, young guys that just need a small lifting, and they'll start, and they now translate it to leaders of their industries. So I'm like, yes, we have projects because our friends, our people that believe that we can raise money and we do this project, but that shouldn't be the case. We should have, as I said, our leadership in Usosa is more like it's like a door. There's one side facing the school and the other side facing the welfare of our people. So we must be able to bring. Okay, we're talking about leadership now. Who else can talk about leadership? More like General Musa. And look at immediate past Chief of Defense Staff is here with us. That's power, and that's and look at what he's saying, political party and everything. We have to put our mind at this thing, not as footnotes. All these things we are discussing tonight, we have to put our mind at it, and we have to do it. Because no generation will do it, but our generation. No generation is more endowed and see as that spirit of this is what Unity School used to be like.
Absolutely, Shay. Yeah, absolutely.
Is this our generation? So it's very important that as we are looking at men talk and everything, I said, I'm a jolly good fellow, but there's some things, if you ask my friends, Shay Gambo will never do. There's some things that has to do with integrity that they'll tell you Shay Gambo will never do. And I'm not just living this life for myself. I'm living it for my family. I'm living it for the successor generations that look up to my personality. Yeah, there's nobody that's not tempted, but there are some things that you know that I know that if anybody adds, it is finished. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I'll be able to do justice to what we have said, but as I said, there's no critical facet of living or industry in the world today that you don't have Usosans there. But then, do you have a critical mass of people doing things together? Do you have a personality thing that I just want to be the best among everybody? Whereas the Nigeria that we want, the Nigeria that our visionaries of the Unity School saw, is they are change agents. You are meant to be change agents. You're not meant to be docile wherever you are. So, I don't know if I've been able to.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to quickly speak to what you said. The theme of the past AGM was Usosans in governance. I don't know if you attended in Abuja.
Yeah.
So that's a way forward. Secondly, I want to say that under the leadership of President General Michael Magaji, there's been a lot of progress in terms of leveraging our members, using technology as a tool to try and gather us together so that the numbers that the general and yourself are talking about are in one space. The President General is currently in partnership with Alumni Hub. If you remember, I mentioned Binta, who is your secretary. She's currently trying to get your members on board. Exactly. And the sooner we get the numbers, the sooner we have the data. Exactly. And there we can help support each other because we are in our environment. So I'll again I'll open the floor to a few questions. I just wanted to buttress and let you know that Usosa, under the leadership of President General Michael Magaji, is actually driving everything you're talking about. Sotonye, again, you have a question. Please feel free.
The way you said Sotonye again, like this lady shouldn't talk.
No. I would never imply that, my dear.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and good evening. Thank you, Senior Shei, for sharing. But I looked at the theme, and I recall the question. You touched on it a bit, but because we're talking about men and boys, can you, in 2 minutes, share a story, from your time in school that prepared you and propelled you to where you are today in your career, and what values drove your success story, so that the boys amongst us can actually learn and be ready to pivot regardless of the situation. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if the moderator permits me. because I know she's not the moderator. She's taking over your job. Anyway, let me tell you this quickly. I was the president of Press Club. I was also the secretary of Leeds Club. And those two clubs were practically the most powerful clubs in our school. Leeds Club, we used to do election like you used to have election now, spraying of money and everything. And Press Club, we used to run Press Club like the Tell magazine and the Newswatch of Hope. Now, coming to Press Club, that's where I got my best friends. And there are two Igbo fellows that we went to school together, my classmates, Undukwechukwu and Doze. And, they made me understand the value of brotherhood. That, when you have a brotherhood that is far above religion, I mean, these guys were Catholics, Protestants, and when you have a brotherhood that is far above religious sentiments, I know that I can go to only place in Africa, I can go to and there are times that I've traveled that I'm only northerner in the midst of all. So you see, these things have a way of shaping our leadership skills. Then I also have, from being press club president, being secretary of everything, these are like incubators, training incubators for me. So the same thing I did when I entered university. And in my workspace, my days in the union and everything, there's a trajectory. There is a service that borders on integrity. And I say it freely. You can check my records. There's nobody that can tell you that I'm taking a bribe. I'm not the richest. I have my needs. In short, when I look at some of the people, I say, if you know what I'm going through, but there are reasons why I will not take that bribe. There's a higher value. I know there's a better tomorrow. I'm very sure of that better tomorrow. I know there will be a day that people will be asking for the likes of Sheyi Gambo, the people that do it the right way, the Nigerian way. All this nonsense they were thinking, not Nigeria. That's not what we are taught. That's not what we saw. That's not what majority of our forefathers, our fathers did. Even before the Igbo came, Africans were people of integrity. So that's what I can tell. That's what I can give our successor, the young guys that are coming. Don't join them. There is a time that will come that the kind of people that we have been trained to be, the ones that they preach in the mosques, the ones that preach in churches, the one that our teachers have. There will be a time that Nigeria will need us, and you have to be ready for that time. All these things that I don't want to say, all these things that we are seeing, the inverted values, they will not stand. They cannot stand the test of time. But what we have, what is sustaining us? I mean, my school going to give a speech in church and be saying, I'm saying this one on behalf of my dad. And what else do I need? I have 6 houses. I can't live. That's not life. But that your soul can stand on his speaking engagement and refer to his dad. It's because of my dad. When I enter an office and I'm leaving, and the younger guys run after me and say, is it possible to live like this in an office like this? I said, yes. It's not easy, but it's doable. And it's in Nigeria. Yeah. I mean, as I said, it's going to be tough. Nothing good comes easy. But as I tell you that, we have been prepared for days like this.
Good evening.
I hope I've said.
Thank you, Sheyi.
Thank you very much.
Again,
thank you.
Time is of the essence. Choma, you want to?
Yes, I would just like to jump right at the second to the last panelist that we have, who is MSK. Please let's appreciate President Sheyi Gambo first of all.
Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate it.
MSK represents the people that we are talking about mentoring. He is also be doing a lot of mentoring. MSK is of the 2006 set. Aside being from that generation, his school is pretty young, Kefi, compared to some of the schools that have spoken this evening. So MSK, question to you, or what we would like you to speak on is, we've all been hearing from the mentors. What would you want to see from the mentors as a mentee? The floor is yours now.
7 minutes, please. All right, there we go. MSK is here.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Let me use 30 seconds to greet General Musa and appreciate him for the service to our nation. We celebrate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed Sabwikana from FGC Kefi, and I'll be sharing my few comments around mentorship and mentoring. When I started Usosa event, joining Usosa event around 2013, I got the opportunity to receive informal mentoring from a lot of Usosans, including those on the call today. People like, of course, the PG, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, Mr. Frank Uweke Jr., and quite a lot of them. And why I call it informal is because it wasn't a one-on-one. It wasn't a structure, time-bound mentoring that people are used to, or people would love to describe as a form of mentoring. The kind of mentoring that I received from Usosa is that informal mentoring where I learn from them. I get opportunity to follow them to meetings. They get to mention my names in rooms where I'm not there, and they also involve themselves in what I do. And as all of you know, the activity that I was doing, at least the one that a lot of you know, is advocating for the Almajiri children. And what these Usosa mentors, the role they play in supporting me to advance the work I do, is what I mentioned earlier, mentioning my name in rooms where I'm not there, joining me in my activities. For instance, Mr. Frank is part of the board member of my organization. Mr. Prof. Chidi will sponsor my trip to international event, mention my names in rooms where I'm not there. So I think I need to mention this so that the young people who might be in the room should know that mentoring in this sense and nature does not entail Ms. PG calling you to say, have you what do you want to do in life, or have you eaten, and all of that. They must be able to see that you know what you want to do, or this is what you are doing, and they see either value and sense in what you are doing, and they are able to offer that kind of support to you. I think this is what young people should know. And I could mention probably up to 50 Usosans who I can call my mentors. In fact, Prof. Chidi coined a name, MSK Mentors Network, whereby he kind of bring all the Usosans who are supporting my advocacy, and we're able to achieve a lot because of these mentors behind me, you know. And so it's important for young people to know that mentorship in this situation and this nature of alumni and all of that is not a time bound. It's not a kind of structure where you're expecting somebody to tell you what to do and all of that. If you're doing something, if you take the individual responsibility to do something, then you will find those mentors within your network to support you, inspire you, and even guide you, and also contribute to what you're doing. I don't know if I'm able to. I know it says 7 minutes. I'm not sure if
go on, MSK. Go on.
Okay. So, and so yes, this is how Usosa supported what I do, and I think it's important to also mention that support did play a lot of role in changing my life, supporting what I do, but most importantly, changing Nigeria, or is it building better tomorrow for Nigeria? Because 10 years ago, nobody dare speaks around the issue of Almajiri openly, not even the politicians. I've met with Kwankwaso, where he told me, look, you can't do anything about this thing. And some politician will say, I can't hold your placard because I will lose election, you know. But today, there is a whole agency for the out of school and Almajiri situation, and a new policy has just been passed. And it all boils down to the advocacy that we started and that was supported by mentors from Usosas. So I can really beat my chest to say the success of the Almajiri advocacy that a lot of you know me about was supported 100% by mentors from Usosas. You know, Amina Salu from Makato Foundation, it's a very funny story how she get to support to get me to support. Mr. Mike, when I was doing masters in Kaduna, I stayed in his house. Chinedu Amore here, Francis Obi, Omo Obilo, all of them saw what I was doing, and they all were providing one or two mentoring for me there and there, left, right, and center, and that really, really gave me the strength. Gave me I was almost feeling I could achieve what the impossible, because I know that I have these mentors behind me. So, but I think the most important point I would like to make is to say that as young people looking up to mentors within the network, you should be able to do what will attract the attention of the mentor to provide support to you. I think that is what I did, and that's how I got a lot of mentorship from a lot of Usosans. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, MSK. Chioma, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, MSK. I can successfully say you are now a mentor at this level. I removed you from mentee to mentor.
Hallelujah.
Thank you very much. David.
Yes.
Over to you. Have questions in the room or contributions?
We will take one question because of time. Is there any question for MSK? I saw people commenting. As a young person, be dynamic, unique, stand out in what you do. Comfort, Zuhuben, you want to ask MSK a question? If not, we'll move to the only lady on the panel. We're going to open the floor to the Vice President General, Barrister Chinedu Amore. Chinedu Amore, the floor is yours. Please feel free in your own lens to speak on what you've heard and what you think the way forward is. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, David, and good evening, everyone. It's been very interesting listening to all the speakers. I'll say this. Something just stands out. The values that were instilled in us in Unity schools. It's just showing in every single speaker here, from sacrificial leadership, as our former CDS talked about, to excellence and choosing people solely based on merit, as Sir Francis Obi talked about, and also even in living intentionally, as the very first speaker talked about. I mean, like, everything here speaks to the values that shaped us since our days in our federal government schools. Values of integrity, leadership, service, and unity in diversity. So on this note, I would say congrats to the men on this auspicious day. I mean, this is the first time we in Usosa are going this far with the celebration of the International Men's Day. We normally do flyers, we send congratulatory messages, but this time around the women, we said, no, we can do better. I mean, the welfare secretary came up with this idea. She was like, International Men's Day is coming up. And I'm like, yes, let's go for it. Let's do it the way we celebrate the women, because our men are very important to us. They are the pillars. They are the pillars. And we are very grateful for all they do. It's them, with Usosa, they were really the ones in the forefront that started the association. Even though we, the women, have become, partners in progress and everything, but the men have always driven Usosa. So we'll say we appreciate and honor their dedication to mentorship, their commitment to excellence, and the quiet sacrifices that they make every day to create a better tomorrow. And as Usosa men, they embody the spirit of nation building. So their achievements just from all we've heard, their achievements remind us that progress thrives where character, compassion, and courage meet. So we, the women, we are reaffirming, and I'm sure the other women here, I speak for all of them, when I say that we promise to join the men, continue to work alongside them as partners of progress, to build a future that reflects the best of our shared heritage. Our heritage is shared. The very best of it, we will join hands continuously to build a future that reflects this. And this is a heritage which ensures a future where unity, progress, and hope defines the world that we want to live for the next generation. On that note, I'm going to say thank you to all the men here. I don't know if Choma or the Welfare Secretary, if you have something to add. I'm just, I feel so proud of these Usosa men. As in our Nigerian parlance, we say men day. This is the real it. Men really day. Usosa men are, I believe, the best of the best. For the fact that we all have that same shared values that were inculcated in us as children, the real values that the unity schools have brought to bear. And we can see it in the men. Thank you. So, Chairman,
thank you very much. On a lighter note, being from an all-girls school, there's something that we always say that why is it always easier for schools that have men? When they say contribute, they're always faster to contribute. Unlike the female schools, you will preach, you will write a book, you will tell them why they need to contribute. Why is it always easier to bring out money from men, from schools that have men? Any answer? I really need to know.
Absolutely. I scrolled through the list of participants in this webinar, and I noticed very quietly Dauda Elia. I spoke with him on the very second episode of Pro-Unitate podcast, know, and amazingly, he has his hand up. I'm going to open the floor to Dauda Elia. Please feel free to ask a question of any of our panelists. We're going round robin now. We have 20 minutes to do all of that and round up. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also take a few seconds to specially recognize and appreciate General C.G. Musa of FGC Sokoto, one of the shining stars and champions of Usosa. I greet you especially.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I don't have a question, David. I have something of interest to disclose. Today is a special day, the 19th of November. For those who remember, today marks exactly the 5th year of the demise of President General Albert Okumagba, the founding President General of Usosa, who passed away exactly 5 years ago. When you're talking about mentoring, you're talking about from classroom to boardroom, you're talking about sacrifice, you're talking about leadership, you're talking about selflessness. For those who have met and worked with Albert Okumagba, he embodied all of these sterling qualities. So I want to thank all those that put together this program, and I want us to recognize the fact that it's happening on a day that we lost one of another great champion of Usosa. I thank you very much, for giving me this opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Dauda. I'll let PG speak to that very briefly.
Yeah, 18 years ago. Thank you, David, and thank you, Dauda. Good evening, General Musa, and the distinguished team here this evening. Yes, over 18 years ago, at the instance of Albert Okumagba and Ellen Zaiboken, and of course, Dauda Ilia too, Senior Dauda Ilia, Usosa was born. Okay, and for again, a very generous reason. Wari was celebrating, these three gentlemen were FGC Wari, and Wari was celebrating their 40th, and then, some brainwave came and said, well, why are we celebrating 40 alone? Why don't we just look at an umbrella that's much bigger than just us and bring all these unity schools together? And I give them the credit for, conceiving what has become a very strong movement that can only get stronger. And a few months later, in my house in Kaduna, we drafted the constitution at the time, again, championed by Senior Dauda and some of these gentlemen. So what you see today has been an 18-year plus journey that was visioned by people like Albert Okumagba. And Albert was already at the peak of his career at that time, but Albert would leave everything. And sometimes between me, him, Dauda Ilia, people like Ibrahim Audu, Babangida Tukur, or Dion Odomafen, we'll sit down and put a plenary together. And we went around this country, several capitals around Nigeria, mobilizing Usosans, for this movement. So what you see today has been a lot of hard work by people like, Senior Dauda himself in originating this whole movement. And today we especially want to recognize Albert for the kind of selfless service he gave, because he gave his everything, resources, time, energy, all the values he stood for. And Albert will go around this country trying to push, knock on doors to get people, and I'm sure as he's looking down today, I'm sure he's happy that today we're almost at the million mark. If we talk about Usosans, pure Usosans, not talk about dependents and our siblings. So this has turned out to be a great movement, and we cannot write the story of Usosa without Albert Okumagba, without Ellen Zaiboke, without Dauda Ilia, without Ibrahim Audu, without Babangida Tukur, quite a number of them. So what you see today has been hard work, literally bootstrapping and getting things going. And I think the time is now, like my predecessor used to say, Lawrence Wilbur, the time has come. 18 years ago, a lot of the people on the stage today were not there. And it was people like Dauda who put a lot of seed capital, a lot of time capital into nurturing what we have today that we're all leveraging on. And this is the time, and like the general has said, we must take advantage of it. We must take advantage of this time because all of us are significantly positioned, economically, politically, socially, to convert this movement for national change and transformation. Again, in a constructive manner, right? And we must engage, we must exercise our civic responsibility, because we have rights as citizens to participate in governance and how we are also governed, all right? And these were the ideas of the founding fathers. Primarily, we're set up for setting up support public education and creating impact. But clearly, we have also seen that there is a need to put our footprint a bit more deliberately and intentionally across not just the educational sector, but across board. And in the days and weeks to come, I don't want to make any declaration now, but I can tell you that a lot is going to happen in this space. And a good number of Usosans are already considering the political space. I'm sure some of you also know I contested for the Senate in 2023, and I'm going in 2027 also for a higher position. All right, but this is not where I want to make that declaration, but just suffice to say that it was because of people like Albert who encouraged us, who stimulated the leadership qualities in us, who were able to galvanize all of us, for national acceptability, for national diversity, that many of us are still here today. And it is my hope as this movement evolves, and with the likes of General Musa on board, with the likes of so many other Usosans who have been tried and tested in their professions, that we will gain a whole lot of mileage. So again, we respectfully recognize Albert Okumagba today, alongside all the team players who originated this movement, Some are still alive. Many are still alive. Some have also gone, and appreciate their contribution. And I'm hoping also before I leave the presidency of Usosa, we'll get to honor them even in more significant. We've given them awards, but there are plans also to immortalize them in some more fundamental ways than what we've done so far. Again, so Sr. Dauda, thank you for that intro and the and that commentary. But we will continue to always remember Albert for the great things he has done and how he inspired us to be where we also are today. Thank you.
It's the Men's International Day. I believe the global president of FGGC, Bakori, wants to ask a question. Hanatu Ismaila. Francis will let you in a moment. Can Hanatu just quickly ask a question? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I'm honored to be here this evening. I join the entire community to celebrate our great men. I have just a simple question for our general. I happen to be a very social media kind of person, and I just wonder if everybody also observed that you are trending after you retired. And this evening I heard they were talking about leadership without titles. Having seen what people are saying about you since your retirement and the way you're being celebrated without the title of the CDS, I'm not sure I heard about you when you were CDS like this. I'm not sure a lot of people knew about you until after that title was removed. So I just want to ask, do you really know what would you ascribe that to in terms of your personality or character and how you intend to use it to mentor in this post-service time? Thank you.
Thank you, Hanatu. General.
Yeah, thank you very much. To be frank with you, I personally too was amazed. Never really knew people were following up what we're doing. And I think what I try to do wherever I have the opportunity is to show that sense of purpose. I think people can read directly that we were really committed to the task ahead of us, and we went after it thoroughly, sincerely, with a lot of dedication and commitment. I think that's generally what really happened. For me, going forward now is to, like where we are today, to continue to make Nigerians or give Nigerians opportunity to understand that, look, we can do things differently. We can really make this country better. You know, most times when I travel abroad, I feel so bad because I see how things are working. We go there, we work there, we assist them in making things work. How come when we come back, we can't make these things work in Nigeria? That's one question I always ask myself. And so for me, it's a challenge that wherever I serve, whatever I'm doing, I should always put in the best to make people understand that we have the capacity to be the change we so desire. And I think for me, that's what some people have seen. And, a lot of comments and here and there. And I feel very, very happy about it. Because showing that people really appreciate what we have done or what we're doing. But no, the task again is that you still need to do more, because if you go back, the same people that are saying Hosanna, Hosanna, are the same people that will tell them crucify you, crucify you. So it's a work in progress, and we need to sustain that going forward. But truly, I just want to be myself, want to be a Nigerian that loves Nigeria, that wants Nigeria to progress and to work with all Nigerians. I think one thing that plays is I don't segregate. I don't do Christian, Muslim, North, South. For me, you're human, you're Nigerian, and that's good for me. So it's your character that will really determine what next. I think that's what going forward, that's what I'm here to serve, and I think I'll continue to do as long as I can do that. Thank you very much.
Hanatu, I think that's a hint that he's going to continue service. We'll open the floor to Francis. Francis, sorry you've been waiting a bit. It's round robin, like I said. We have another 10-15 minutes. You want to come on the floor, please, Francis? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I was going to protest, carry a placard, but thank God you've done the right thing. So I just wanted to mention one or two things in the course of this conversation. I'll touch on what the general said. So while he was speaking and he talked about, leadership and occupying position and all that, some on the comments platform, I saw some comments of, but Usosans are, Usosan is number 3, Usosan is this, Usosan is that. So what I wanted to say is that, you see, the essence of having this kind of conversation is, what do we expect of Usosan men, because of the day we are celebrating, but generally Usosans. So we don't expect 100%. And we talk about the values, what we were taught. So with those values, what do you expect? We should be able to champion unity and inclusion. We must deliberately model the unity we experienced, promote inter-ethnic collaboration. You heard the general. Reject divisive narratives, build bridges across communities, support inclusive policies and attitudes. And he mentioned something that I picked. See, unity should not be a slogan. It should be a lifestyle. You live it. So it's not what you say. You get what I'm saying? So so what I'm trying to have is that, yes, we all went to unity schools. I remember, if I take our minds back, there was some time ago when some stories were trending. I think it was after the last regime. And some people were allegedly, that word is very popular now, allegedly involved in some kind of either misappropriation of funds or something. And somebody from nowhere just did a line. So person went to federal government guest colleges. The other person went to this. And all of them who were allegedly to have committed some, misappropriation or something around that same period. And they were all linked to have gone to federal government colleges. And I was like, wow. For me, I wasn't happy because it wasn't a good story. But at the same time, the truth is, even when we were in school, not everybody, some of us, even who have turned out well today, we used to, break the rules, play through and see, jump the fence, go and do. But thank God for the discipline and the values we were. And that is what formed us, and we are what we have turned out to. So, if you subscribe and you are a member, look at the general. We're all proud. Everybody is happy. That's a proud Usosan. And you go somewhere. When I was running for election, let me just take it. I was the first Southerner in 25 years to become the president of Badminton Federation of Nigeria. So when I wanted to run, some of my supporters, especially from the South, came to me and said our slogan or our campaign, whatever, should be that it is our turn after 20-something years of the presidency. And I said, no. I told them, I'm not running because of where I come from. I'm running because of what value I want to bring to the Federation. So don't use that. I don't want to hear it. A lot of my supporters were not happy. And I told them, I said, you know what? I went to a unity school. I'm proud of it. So this is where, you get what I'm saying? We are products of a system designed to build Nigeria. We carry a responsibility bigger than ourselves. The values of our past are the tools for our future. So as president, I looked across Uyakbata Usosan, president of cricket. Musa Kida Usosan, president of basketball. And as I was looking, you find out that there's something. It doesn't now mean that there might not be people who will not, go contrary to those values. But what I feel is that what the system has done is we have enough critical mass to be able to make an impact in our country.
The majority is more. That
Yes.
will do the good thing. Absolutely correct, Francis. Absolutely. Round robin, Medina, your hand has been up. 2 minutes, please.
I will do that. Okay, no problem. So you don't supply something disappear. No problem.
Medina?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, 2 minutes, please, if you're making a comment or if you're asking a question. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. For want of time, I would like to stand on already established protocols. My name is Medina from FGC Kaduna, class of 2008. When MSK was speaking about mentorship, he actually caught my attention. And it took me back to when we had the Usosa health walk in early this year anyway. I was fortunate to be part of the committee then, and we fell short of something. We didn't have somebody to MC the event. And I recognized that skill in me that I could MC the event. And I proposed to the committee, I said, since we can't get somebody to do it outside, we will seek inside, and I can do it. So I went ahead, I took up that role, and it was fantastic. When everybody was introducing themselves that day, I think I was the youngest. I came on board as the millennial, and everybody was excited that we had somebody who was a millennial to even come and be the MC for that event. What I'm trying to say, sometimes you don't have to wait for people to recognize your talent. You can put yourself out there, and little by little, those mentors will discover you and train you to even become something bigger than you expect. I, for one, for instance, I'm already on my journey to becoming an MC, and thanks to many people that recognized my talent that day and even gave me accolades. They said, good job, you should think of doing this professionally. I took that advice, and I'm on that road now. So in terms of mentorship, sometimes you don't have to wait to be mentored. Put yourself out there and you'll be recognized. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
You learned that from Shay Gambo. Go on, Chioma, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And I'm adding myself to a mentor as well. One day I'm hoping that we'll share a stage.
Thank you, Ma. I love that.
Feel free to reach me and let's get on it.
All right, Ma. Thank you.
Chioma.
David, thank you. We are gradually coming to the end. We have less than almost like 5 minutes. So we'll just give room for the welfare secretary for the both of things. But before then, PG, would you want to say anything to us before we close?
Yeah, well, just to say a big thank you to everyone that has graced this occasion and has participated in the room. Special thanks to General Musa. Sterling qualities. You can see even in retirement, simple, humble, ready to serve. These are the Usosa values. This is what makes the Usosa man. Proudly Usosan. And guess what? He's my set, 85. So it gives you an idea of what we're made of. Sorry to sound selfish. But seriously, again, the message is to all the men in Usosa who are doing great stuff. We need to come together. We need to reinforce. We need to synergize locally and internationally, and to give our country the best. We have all it takes, quite frankly, and the time has now come. All right, I think we are all mature in size and status, okay, to impose our footprint in the affairs of this country in a more deliberate way. We're brought up for a time like this. We're trained for a time like this. Taxpayers' money was used for a time like this. So we should take maximum advantage of it. And I'm hoping that in the days and the weeks ahead, all Usosa men, alongside our beautiful ladies, the women who also support us, Usosa, will take the bull by the horns, participate. Okay, it's a civic responsibility. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And I can't think of a better tribe of Nigerians than Usosans who can do this based on the orientation we have. I think if we take this message seriously, we can make a difference in this country. I want to thank all of you, David, Chioma, great job, Welfare Secretary Uzo, and all of you who put this together. The podcast will continue, the message will continue. We only have one country, and it's Nigeria, and we have the men in Nigeria, that can lead and make a difference, a transformational difference in the lives of people. I want to, on behalf of all the mentors here, again, recommit and rededicate ourselves to all the potential mentees, because I've always said it, there are two responsibilities of leadership: inspiration and transformation. If you cannot inspire, you can't be a leader. If you cannot transform from that inspiration, you can't be a leader. And the Usosa leaders and the seniors are more than willing and ready to mentor the young ones, okay, into and shape them into what they should be. We are ready to and prepared to share our experiences, and that's why a lot of us have showed up. This is our responsibility as leaders. We're not doing you a favor. This is what is expected of us as leaders, to be able to mentor the young ones and bring them up to speed, make them as great or even greater than we are. So once again, on behalf of all of us, the BOT, the NEC, the ESCO, I want to thank all the organizers and all the time that has been spent this evening. Again, special thanks to General Musa. We will talk, we'll continue to talk, we'll continue to engage. Nigeria needs you, we all need you, and I think working together will end up making a difference. Thank you for all those who participated and asked questions. I'm sure this program will be widely circulated across all our media platforms, so that people who were not in attendance can actually follow through. So once again, I want to thank all of us for a great show this night, and thank you, Dave, for all you do for us. Choma, thank you also, and a happy evening, all of us. Yeah.
Thank you
so much. I'd just like to add, we have recorded over 20 episodes of the Pro-Unitate podcast. So you have a story to tell. We have a platform for you to tell it. Success stories of Usosans. So please, yes, David.
I know who our next guest is.
I know who the next five.
You must make it happen, all right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Welfare Secretary, please. BJ has done a lot of the thank yous, but we'd just like to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Choma. Thank you very much. PG sir, all our VPG, all our esteemed panelists. General, thank you, sir. I thank everybody for making out time to be with us in this very beautiful session. You all agree with me that it was quite impactful. I'm sure from this, we're going to start having groups, action groups towards mentorship, towards political awakening amongst us. However, this is just one of the kind of sessions we'll be having in Usosa. Many more get towards mentorship trainings and all that, just as PG have said. Thank you very much again. But before we go, I'd like, wherever we are, if we could just stand up and have, let's say, a minute silence for our first PG, that's late Okumagba. Thank you very much. Okay.
Good evening.
May soul rest in peace. Amen.
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 Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our dear Welfare Secretary. So just before we go, I'd just like to remind the men of unity in this room to remember to speak up, to slow down, and to stand tall. And wherever you are, serve and mentor with uniform, without uniform, with title, without title. That is the message tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Clap for them, Chioma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Global President Bakori should have sent the wine ahead of time.
Clapping for
Yes.
Melina.
Let me see all the emojis. Let me see all the clap emojis for the men of unity. Please, let's celebrate them
clapping.
once again.
Only the women should clap. Only the
Senior
women should
honey,
clap.
good evening.
I'll join the ladies.
Bye. Yeah, good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Have a
Good night, everybody.
night.
Good night.
Bye for now.